Alright, Kimbo White here. We'll throw up my UFC 110 picks. I normally don't make all the prelim card predictions, but I'm going to do one of them this time. I only really do the prelim cards if they really interest me. Which I can't believe I see Elvis Sinisic's name on this prelim cards. Wow. But anyways, one fight on the prelim I'm going to make a prediction on. That's Stephan Bonner versus Krzysztof Szynski. There's no way I see, Stephan Bonner beating Krzysztof Szynski, to be real honest. Even though I do still like Stephan, even though he's taking a couple of pretty embarrassing losses, and it doesn't seem like, he's much in the ranks of the division right now. I think he'll stand up with Szynski for a minute, and they'll punch each other around. It'll end up being a wrestling match, and Bonner's never been as good of a wrestler as Szynski, but Szynski is superior in the ground game overall, and I think he'll end up being a tap out or TKO for Szynski. Crow Cop versus Ben Rothwell. Without a doubt, I'm going to go with Crow Cop in that fight. It's going to be a stand-up war. Nobody's going to try to go to the ground, and it's going to be most likely a knockout I'm going to call it a knockout for Mirko Crow Cop. Ryan Bader and Keith Jardine. Pretty much about what I see happening here is what Bader's going to try to do, what he does to everybody. I think he's big enough and strong enough. Probably Jardine's going to get thrown down, held down. He'll wrestle. Jardine, has got some good takedown defense and wrestling skills. I've seen him on his back with good wrestlers, good jiu-jitsu guys on top of him, and stand right up and get right out of it somehow. So, but man, this Bader is a tough-looking guy. I can't believe they've dilly-dicked around this long with getting him worked up the ladder, man. It kills me because some of these guys that I watch on TUF that are the baddest guys that you see come through there hardly ever get a fucking fight. They'll get a couple of no-name fucking fights stretched over the course of a year or two, like this guy. Keith Jardine's the first name that the guy's fighting. And I've been waiting to see Ryan Bader fight a fucking name since he came off the show. Man, he was impressive as hell. So, whatever. But finally we're going to see him fight a big name, so it's going to be awesome. Obviously, Keith's going to try to catch him with something on his way, shooting in or standing with him. We'll see how that goes. But I got Bader by ground and pound. Maybe even a submission, rear naked, something like that. Soteropoulos and Stevenson. I'm going to go with Joe Daddy in this one for sure. Soteropoulos, good fighter, hasn't fought near the caliber of fighter as Joe Stevenson. He's not anybody even near his level. His last two fights were George Roop and shit, I don't even know, somebody else about on that level. So, I picked Ken Flo and Diego to beat Joe, and they both did. But I picked Diaz to beat Joe, and Joe was impressive in that. I thought he was impressive, against Nate. I picked Nate to beat him, and he beat Nate. So he beat Nate Diaz. That shows something. And then he beat Spencer Fisher, and that always says something. So he's showing that he's still around. He might have had a couple of fights that weren't so impressive, but he is still a contender in the division. And I think I'd like to see him win this fight. Either get a rematch with Nate or maybe a rematch with Diego. Either one would be great. Considering the winner of Kenny and Gomi are going to get a title shot. I guess if Joe wins this, maybe you could give him the loser of that, and let Nate and Diego could go at it. I'm not sure if those guys have ever fought or not. But anyway, that's enough about those guys. Bisping and Silva, I just have to go with Wendy in this fight. I like Bisping, but I picked Henderson to beat him, and I just got to go with Wendy in this fight. I don't know why, and I really don't exactly know how. I know I got a feeling he's going to stand with him. But, Bisping's a hell of a fucking wrestler in his own right. But I think it would be in Wendy's best interest to set up a good takedown or try to knock him down with a punch and then finish him on the ground or, jump on him, submit him, or ground and pound him. But I got to go with Wendy in that fight for some reason. And then the main event, Velasquez and Nogueira. I tell you what, Nogueira's been damn impressive lately. He's been damn impressive. And I think Velasquez is going to have problems when he tries to throw him around like he has a lot of people, because I think that's Nogueira's fought like that his whole life, and he's going to cling on like saran wrap. And see, that's what my boy thinks too. But I still have to go. On the stand-up, I have to give the advantage in the stand-up to Nogueira, and I don't think he's going to knock Velasquez out though, and I think Velasquez is going to take it to the ground. It might surprise me. Nogueira might try to go to the ground first, and so that way he can get top position and try to get the mount. If that happens, can it be? He's going to have a fucking fight on his hands. It's going to be nice. This is a good card. And, I'm really pretty pumped to see probably all 5 of these fights, to be real honest with you. This is the start of a long line here of really good fucking fights this year. And these next 3 or 4 events are just stacked. But back to my main event decision, I'm gonna have to go with Velasquez. I think the guy is gonna have better cardio. He's younger. He's gonna come out. He's hungry, and I think that without a doubt, he can overpower Nogueira. Technique-wise, Nogueira, he's got more in his basket, and there's, no denying that. But I gotta go with Velasquez, and I think he's gonna be your next #1 contender after Mir and Carwin. After one of those guys gets their shot at Brock, then Velasquez will be your next #1 contender in line after that. And obviously whoever loses this fight, will still be in the top ranks of the heavyweight division. But what they end up doing with these 2 guys is hard telling. They could take the winner of this fight and let him fight the loser of Mir and Carwin to decide to have another #1 contender match. That would make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. I would think you would just make the winner of this the #1 contender, let the 2 losers fight. Something along those lines. It's hard to tell where it'll end up, but they got a lot of shit they can do right now at the heavyweight division, and this is going to be really interesting. But I'd be happy to see either one of these guys fight Mir, Carwin, or Brock in their next fight. Whether they win or lose, no matter how it goes, I'll be happy with it, because the heavyweight division is really stacked right now. So, everybody let me know what they think about those predictions, and it's been The Last Word with Kimbo White.